You know, when I was a kid, if you would have asked me where I want to work, where my dream job is, of where I want to be when I grow up when it comes to working a 9 to 5, I would have maybe at one point told you Bungie. And the reason for that is not the reason that any sane-minded adult would pick a job. It's actually because if you were a Bungie employee, well, anybody who is a Halo 3 veteran who's listening to this will probably know exactly where I'm talking about. If you were a Bungie employee, you actually could have a specific armor set in multiplayer that literally nobody else playing the game could have. Yeah, that armor set was called Recon. Now, years down the road, they eventually made it available to everybody, thus making it kind of lame and unimportant. But, that was my incentive, definitely. That would have been my go-to when it comes to picking a job. But now I am older, the real world has hit me in the head, and, now I've got bills, gas, groceries, all of the typical boring adult stuff. Yeah, life is no longer about Spartans and elites. Now I have to, kind of work a normal sort of job and kind of get my head into reality. The job that I choose would never really have to do with an in-game cosmetic. But, it is kind of that mindset behind what it actually sounds like was a hiring practice of Bungie, or at least that is, according to a former Bungie legal officer. His name is Don McGowan. Now, he was interviewed just under a month ago by a YouTube channel called IATSE. It looks like a video game union YouTube channel. I'm going to link it in the description, and I am going to specify next to it the exact part in the video that I'm referencing in this video. So it's actually kind of just the last minute or two of the interview. Don actually mentioned this thing about video game companies basically knowing that they can pay fans, if they hire fans, less money than they would for somebody that is not a fan, simply because the fan would just be thrilled to be working for, their favorite game company. I think this is incredibly interesting because while it, I guess, seems maybe a bit obvious, I've just never thought about something like this. Now, I absolutely also want to mention that while he said that, yes, Bungie, absolutely did do this, at least back in the day when he was there, I want to point out that he also said that, the entire video game industry is guilty of doing this. So while he was more talking about Bungie here in this interview due to, obviously, his work history, I want to mention that, this claim is not just pointing the finger at Bungie. It's kind of talking about the whole video game industry, not just one studio. I especially want to mention that too because, I never make two videos in a row about, the same thing or the same company, but literally just yesterday I was talking about how a guy is suing Bungie for $200 million. So yeah, if you watched yesterday's video and now this, you might think I'm obsessed with hating on Bungie. I'm absolutely not. I like Bungie. Like I said, since my early days of playing Halo 2, Halo 3, I've always loved Bungie. I've got great respect for them. But this is very interesting. I'm interested to know if I am the only person that is just now figuring this out. When he mentioned this to the interviewer just kind of nodded their head, just kind of like it was a known thing. Maybe I'm out of the loop for not knowing that, but yeah, I know that there has got to be quite a bit of people who this is new information to. Now, all of this obviously is alleged, it's all claims. There's nothing factual set in paper and pen that I can go off of here. But if this is true, big if, I just, I think it's quite shady. I think it's quite, disingenuous to take advantage of fans and their desire to work at that company and basically their passion for that specific company's work and their projects, basically taking advantage of that to knowingly pay them much less than they probably deserve. Maybe it's opening up a bit of a can of worms, but I am very interested to know how many companies do this and how much of a problem this actually is overall in the gaming industry.